9 people in this room that don't remember the world pre-internet. Guys, this is the single biggest culture shift in the last several hundreds of years. The internet has changed everything. Here's how I look at it. Do you have the audacity to sit in this ballroom right now and think this social stuff is not going to impact your business when this stuff is overthrowing governments that have held regime for 40 years in the Middle East? Do you have those balls? This is the biggest shift we've ever seen. Now, I know why this is happening. Let me tell you about my first keynote ever. 1997, I was a youngster. I was super nervous. It was an e-commerce conference, Jersey Chamber of Commerce event. Some guy comes up. We were talking about e-commerce. He goes, nice suit and tie, PowerPoint. I'm in the back, like disheveled. And he goes, how many of you here will put a credit card into a computer? And like 4 of the 500 people raised their hands. And he goes, and that's what I mean. That was his big punchline. And that's what I mean. He was talking about e-commerce never taking off. That's what I mean. This kid is going to come up here and tell you that you're going to buy wine on the internet. And people started laughing. So, I come up and I go, first and foremost, my opening line was, first and foremost, I want to give a big shout out to the last guy, because anybody who's got the audacity to bring it that hard against me deserves credit. I love the competition. But Mr. PowerPoint is on the wrong side of history. And I'm really devastated that that wasn't the age of what we're doing right now, where you could tape it and we could look back at it, because everything he said was wrong, and that's fine, because so many people need to see the black and white. The analytics do matter. The stats do matter. But if that was the case, if all the data was so easily consumed and then you could make a decision, if that was the rules of business, IBM would have never let Microsoft happen, Microsoft would have never let Google happen, Google would have never let Facebook happen, Facebook would have never let Twitter happen, and on and on and on. 9 guys who created over $10 billion in their career sat in a boardroom in 2002, all looking at each other. Hey, Dick, what do you think about this Netflix thing? I don't know, John. Nobody I know is using it. Pat? No clue. I can't see it happening. Steve? No, people like going to the store. And those 9 assholes on the board of Blockbuster put their company out of business. There is a shitload of social media hucksters. On the flip side, everybody's really clapping about that part. On the flip side, just because you read Mashable and TechCrunch and you have a Twitter account doesn't mean you understand business, dickhead. All right, now that we're even, let's keep it going. I wrote a book, you guys all have it. It's called The Thank You Economy. Why would I put my name on something? First of all, I sat there, maybe you don't think it's a big deal. I sat there for like a month, and I don't think on things so often. I'm pretty intuition-based. But I said, shit, economy is a big boy word. This isn't the thank you movement or the thank you trend. This is the word economy. This is a big, big word. And I wanted to go there with this word because I know what's happening. What's happening is this. We are living through a very interesting transition. Not only are these new products happening, it's colliding at the same time with a very big dynamic. If you are here talking to the consumer, if you've been in sales, for the last 150 years, every platform, we have pushed our message down the consumer's throat. The way you're successful is what I'm doing right now. What I'm doing right now is giving a presentation. You are sitting here and you're consuming it. Some of you will like it, that will be good for me, business-wise. Some of you won't, that won't. But then I'll keep fighting for your love, because a couple curses isn't that bad, okay? So that's what's gonna happen. That has been the skill set for the last 150 years by every business. Whether it was television or print, heck, go way back, go smoke signals. You pushed your message, they consumed it. Print, push. Television, push. Radio, push. Internet came along, you thought that changed a lot of things? Yeah, but guess what? Banner ads, push. Email newsletters, push. Push, push, push. Everybody in this room is a pusher. That is the way marketing has looked for the last 150 years. Now we have a platform where there's a little bit more dialogue. The skill set that it's going to take, that I'm going to dominate our mixer when we're done with this keynote, because I'm going to work the room. Working the room is different than giving a presentation. Some can do both, some can do one or the other. For the last 150 years, the businesses that gave the best presentation won. Going forward, the companies that work the room the best are going to win. And here's why. There's a study coming out that the average 23 or 24-year-old, somewhere in there, it's like 24.6, has no clue when asked to retain information and read back to you, not knowing what they were being tested for, anything that the right side and the top of a web page has. Nothing. I can tell you the middle. It's got plenty of information for you on the left side. Why can't they tell you about the top and the right side? Because that's where the ads are. Especially the right side. They were like deliriously terrible. Of course, growing up in a Facebook world where it's that, but even that, prior, we all know, tons of ads on the right side of a website. Eric Schmidt, former CEO, now chairman of Google, came out with a stat. I want you to pay attention very closely because if you haven't heard it, this really opens up where shit's going. From the beginning of mankind until 2003, the amount of content that we collectively produced, people, not Americans, all human beings, every article in the New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, Financial Times, every song in China, Japan, every movie, every piece of art, every piece of content from the beginning of time, when we took like clubs and pounded people and dinosaurs and shit. Back then, until 2003. Anybody not remember 2003? All right, good. Beginning till 2003, all of it, every piece of content, every written word, audio, visual, everything, is now being replicated every 48 hours. I want everybody to hold the person's hand to the right of them because I want everybody to absorb this comment. No wonder our kids are ADD. Shit's changing. We're producing so much. So wait, content is king. Raise your hand, don't bullshit me, remember? Raise your hand. Have you ever heard of content is king? Raise it. Yeah, I believe in it. On the flip side, as somebody who writes books and pays attention to culture, I know the best book or the best movie didn't make the most money. In 2008, at Web 2.0, I said, content is king, but marketing is the queen, and that bitch runs the household. But it's funny, you change, right? And now there's something I think is way more powerful. Call it a religion. Call it whatever you want. The king, the czar, little Russian reference. The word that I'm most obsessed with right now is context. Context is the battlefield. Context is what you were all going to fight for. Because with push marketing at the level it is today, nothing is going to break through. Too much noise. So what breaks through? Intent and caring, and more importantly, shut your mouth and open your ears. Let's think about that for a second. How many people here, don't bullshit me, don't watch television? Raise your hand. Okay, still fairly low numbers, good. That wasn't the big punchline. This is. How many of you have a DVR or a TiVo and use it? Raise your hand. Raise them. I want front row to look back, get a good sense, because it's almost everybody. Thank you, front row. Good work. How many of you DVR and fast forward every single commercial of every single show that you watch? Raise your hands. Everybody look. Everybody look. Hold them up. I'm not even going to look. So why the fuck are my clients paying the same prices for commercial as if it was 2003? When you drive home tonight, I want you to look at the people that are driving next to you. While you're driving, I want you to look at 3 people while you're driving. One of them is texting. 3 of them might be texting. So, even though I spend plenty of money on outdoor media myself and I like it very much, why am I paying for billboards like it's 2002? People aren't looking at outdoor media the same way. They're not looking at billboards while they drive. They're not even looking at the fucking road. How many people here are email marketing? Raise your hand. Have done email marketing in their career? Good. How many have done it 5 years or back for a little while? So you guys know email open rates as good as they were 6 years ago? 10 years ago? No. Banner click-throughs? Yeah, struck a nerve there. You know what banner click-throughs were in 1994? 70%. They were new. People clicked them. Now you're a genius if you get 1.0. Right? Things change. You know why? Because marketers ruin everything. We do. I did. Wine Library's email service. Huge. Built my business on it. First, it was the weekly email service. Then one day I'm driving to the store, I'm like, why do I only email on Tuesday? Maybe I should email on this Thursday, just see what happens. You know what happened? We sold twice as much wine. So then I was like, let's go to Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Let's just see what happens. We sold 3 times more wine. So I was like, shit, screw this, we're going to 5 days a week. Monday through Friday. 5 times more wine. Sat with that for a couple of years, and then one day, driving to the store on a Saturday, I'm like, people read email on Saturday. So we went to the weekend, and we pounded and we pounded and we pounded, and open rates fell, overhyped every product, and it doesn't convert the way it did. Look at the deal a day space. It's only 2 years old. I mean, Woot started 5 years ago, but the phenomenon of Groupon and Living Social and Yield Group, 2-3 years old. Everybody was going nuts. You couldn't wait to buy $40 worth of sushi for 20 bucks a year ago. Now, think about yourselves. How many of you delete them right away? You know why? You signed up for too many of them. Penetration, saturation. Now you don't give a shit if somebody's offering you $1 million home for $8, you're deleting that shit. Things are changing very quickly. Thank you, economy. It's going to be very interesting. Here's what I think it is. I called Kristen at Wine Library. I said, I need an example for the thank you economy for my book tour. Kristen is now the head of our thank you department at Wine Library. That is not customer service. Customer service is playing defense. The thank you economy is offense. I said, Kristen, find a customer that is interesting, big, small, indifferent, something. Find me something. She emails me, finds this guy in Chicago, drops 25 G's on his first order. That was an anomaly outside the box. Interesting, okay. We start trying to find who he is online. We find him on Twitter. We follow him, and we pay attention to everything he says for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Basically, here's what he had to say. Jay Cutler, I love you. Jay Cutler, you're the best. Hey, Packers, I can't wait till you come to Soldier Field. We're going to beat your ass. Oh, crap, I think Jay Cutler's hurt. Oh, shit, we lost to the Packers. We'll be back next year. Jay Cutler's the best. Don't be mad at Jay Cutler. He was really hurt. Jay Cutler, will you marry me? This guy likes Jay Cutler. All right? Kristen sends me the information. I'm traveling. I look. I'm like, oh, yeah, this guy, man of my own heart, big football fan. Cool. Interesting. I email Kristen. I go, I want you to go to eBay, and I want you to buy him a Jay Cutler jersey, signed. Send him a note. Thank you for becoming a new customer of Wine Library. Now, I'm going to give you another example that doesn't entitle buying customers, buying stuff, spending money. But why was this important? Why is this different? Because it's 2011. In 2007, we had no way of knowing that he was a Bears fan. We are putting out micro-context messages on an everyday basis that is changing the way that we can market. Every one of you says something on Facebook or Twitter that you would have never said on the phone or called any of your friends about. This morning, you saw a comment that looked something like, Tropicana orange juice is yummers. That is not some shit you would have called your friend about. However, it is creating context on you. It is creating context because that person is somebody you're close to, and it is a brand impression. The way we think about and get approached by companies is totally different because word of mouth has always been the currency. The way Butcher Bob worked in the 1930s, when you walked into the store, he already had context on you. It was a small town. He knew that your son played baseball. He talked to you about it. He saw you walking in the street. We had context on each other in the 20s and 30s because we lived in small towns in a way we haven't had for 50 to 60 years as we all started spreading out. Guess what technology is doing? It's bringing us back to the small town rules. You know so much more shit about your friends and relatives today because of Facebook than you ever could have imagined 10 years ago. Not only your cousins and relatives and nephews, but people you used to go to high school with who you haven't talked to in 15 years. The amount of context that we're creating with each other, which then converts into business, is quite staggering.